Hello, my name is Jared Krebs. I'm pictured here with my wife, Crystal. We're Emerald Directors, co-founders of Team DSI. And tonight's training features my lovely wife, Crystal Krebs, who's pictured here. She's going to be sharing her 7-year USANA journey. Crystal started her business in 2010. And when she started, I met her because she was on the team, and I thought she was beautiful. And, that was obviously, I liked her. But at that time, we were just colleagues in USANA. And over that time, it developed into a great relationship that is now a marriage. She's my wife, and I love her very much. And I want you to hear Crystal's story, though, from Crystal's perspective, because it's a unique perspective that not only involves the finances, but is also an amazing health story that you're going to want to just take notes. You're going to want to just absorb everything you can from this story. She never has shared her story like this, where it's just her sharing her story from her perspective. But you're about to hear it right now. Crystal Krebs' 7-year USANA journey. Crystal, thank you so much for taking time to be on this call. Thank you for being such a great wife and a great leader of our team. You are the first lady of our business. I'm super excited to hear from you. And with further ado, Crystal, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Dave. All right, guys. So my 7-year USANA journey. It began back in 2010, and I was looking for something to get a little healthier. I was at the time apprenticing for a dance studio, and I overheard our dance director talking to somebody about making a little extra money on the side, and my ears perked up because who doesn't want extra money? And I basically got a USANA presentation from them. Back then it was the flip chart presentation, which was awesome too. And I went to my first Health and Freedom, and I was sold. I walked in and I loved how happy everybody was. Everybody was happy, and it was just like this amazing room full of this awesome energy. And I wanted some of that Kool-Aid. I was like, why is everybody smiling? What's going on? Like, this is cool. So I
Crystal,
actually—
let's switch to the webcam so everyone can see you.
Okay.
Because you look great.
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
Here I am. So what was I saying? Oh, so actually at the time, I didn't have the money to start up my business. However, if there's a will, there is a way. And the way for me was actually, it was around my birthday. And I asked my parents if, I basically said that's what I wanted for my birthday, was to start my USANA business. So that's what happened. And I got in. My official first day in USANA was June 28th of 2010. And I started training. I started learning some things. Immediately, Jared and my immediate sponsor, Samantha, they all convinced me that I needed to go to convention, which was in August. So this is literally like a month later. And I'm like, of course I'm going to go. I have to go. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, yeah, convention. Everybody goes to convention. This is like the thing. So Jared got me in with 3 other girls. We had, roommates, and came up to Salt Lake City that literally like a month after I signed up, and just saw the vision and the power, and just totally fell in love with USANA. And I think it was a really, really amazing and like super big benefit that I went to convention that close after I got started. I mean, doesn't matter what time of year you start, go to convention. That's just going to tell you and show you how massive and how amazing this company is. There's so many people, and it's a lot of fun, and I love going every year. So convention's like the best time of year. It's kind of like Christmas, but USANA Christmas. So I started my business, and I worked at it for a long time. I was learning, I was training. Back then, was a little bit of a different type of training, a different type of presentation. Just to give you guys a little perspective, our presentations, like one-on-one presentations, they could run about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I'm not kidding. It was like that long. And we had either the flip chart or we had slides. Like it was just a lot longer. Thank God we have our new presentation that's, a video now that you can send out to people and they can see it, and it's much nicer. I don't know. I followed direction. I was coachable, I was teachable, and I did everything Jared said, and I was doing my business. Hour and a half to 2 hours, meeting with people, bringing them to Health and Freedom. It was great to bring them out to Health and Freedoms, just because you could introduce them to a lot of different people. There was, if you brought somebody who was a teacher, like I wasn't a teacher, but like Jared was a teacher, or like there's other people who had that same background. So you could introduce them to that type of person in the community who's had a successful USANA business. So it was just really, really awesome. A lot of fun. Like I was having a blast learning and teaching other people about USANA, which was really cool. My first few years, I ended up advancing, I think, to builder was what I think it was a builder. I remember the year that it was a builder because we actually had a big XRC, the regional there in San Antonio, which is what they had this year as well. And it was just really cool because you got to go into the special room and like be with all the big people, and it was a lot of fun. And I just was still in love with the business. Like I was still out there prospecting constantly. The biggest benefit that I didn't realize I was going to get was actually the personal development. I always knew I wanted to grow as a person. I just didn't really have a vehicle or something to do that with. I didn't know how, I didn't know what to look for, like what books, what people to learn from. And USANA opened that door for me. And it's been a constant thing. And it still continues to this day. Like growing is always going to be a part of your life anyway. But there's just that many more trainings and exposures to different ways to develop yourself as a person, as a business person. And that's just kind of one of the best parts about being in USANA is just growing. Now, Jared and I got engaged in May of 2013. And a month after that, I found out I had cervical cancer. Obviously, our world was kind of turned upside down, and we put our wedding on hold. And it was just a different thing. Like I always say, I kind of didn't quite have a story in USANA, so I had to manifest cancer so that I could get a story. And that's just, serious, but not that serious. So we found out, and the day that that we were flying out to convention that year was when we actually found out the staging and all of that information. We asked the doctor if it was okay to fly, and he said that's fine. So we went to convention that year. I don't think we really attended maybe like one or two of the workshops because we were constantly talking to our amazing network of friends who are in USANA, doctors, and like just, it was such a huge blessing to have that network because they knew a little bit more than as far as nutritional ways to handle it than just Western medicine, just going straight into chemo. Like I didn't go straight into chemo and radiation. Like I was like, let me see what else I can do, what alternative things, what other things can I do before actually doing that. And we got a lot of good feedback, and basically the consensus from everybody was that at the time I needed to go and have a hysterectomy. And of course we had just gotten engaged, so having a hysterectomy, like we're not going to be able to have kids. That was something we had to come to terms with. And even before that, we didn't I still didn't go to chemo and radiation right after convention. I was learning and researching and doing some different things to figure out what else I could do. And a friend of ours told us of a healer in Brazil by the name of John of God. And we researched him. Dr. Wayne Dyer went to see him. Oprah went to see him. So we thought, hey, we could have a miracle and we might as well, let's see what happens. So we booked our trip. We were in Brazil for 2 weeks, and it was really so enlightening and one of the best trips that I've ever had and experienced. I didn't get immediately healed, which is okay. Like, it doesn't always happen there that there's like a miraculous healing. It does happen in some cases, but not for everybody. And that was okay, because it kind of started me off on a different path as well. But at that point, we actually came to terms with the fact that, okay, we're going to go have this hysterectomy, and we'd come to peace with that. So we came back, and I was in, I think, New Year's or right before New Year's that year, like the day before. And I went in to have this hysterectomy. Well, I woke up and everybody was kind of a little somber, and they told me that they didn't do the full hysterectomy. They only took my fallopian tubes and some of the lymph nodes because it had spread. And the only way that they were going to be able to tell if it had spread was once they went in to do a biopsy on my lymph nodes. So because of that, the next step, I was going to have to do chemo and radiation. So I was like, all right, well, this is just another battle, another little fight. We're going to get through it. I've got USANA. Keep in mind that the whole time, like, I'm so grateful to Dr. Ladd McNamara. If you guys are in San Antonio, he's going to be there on September 30th. And the man is a genius. He was there by my side, basically via phone, like every step of the way, helping me and Jared. And like, I'm so incredibly grateful for him and for his friendship and his guidance and his help. And so the whole time I was taking a lot of USANA, like really high doses of USANA. The radiation doctor basically said, don't take any vitamins. And Dr. Ladd had already, coached us, like, they're going to tell you not to take it. Don't listen to them because they don't have the research. They don't have all the information. And sure enough, like he said, don't take it because they're trying to oxidize your body. But in reality, like there's no complication, I guess, so to speak. But because I was taking a ton of it, it was protecting all the good cells inside that needed help being, with that protection. Because I'm going through chemotherapy and radiation. It's basically poisoning your body. So all the help I could get, right? And this whole time I'm just, taking a lot of it. And if you didn't know I had cancer, like, you wouldn't have known. I didn't lose my hair. I was a little bit weaker. Like, yeah, it definitely beat me, kind of gets you down. But like, I was still had energy walking around. People, like I said, if you didn't know that I had cancer, like, you wouldn't have known. So I had 28 days of radiation and 6 weeks of chemotherapy. And I got through it. Oh, and then I had 5 treatments of internal radiation as well. That was like, excuse me, that was like the hardest part, actually. But through this time too, I was so thankful that we had our USANA business, because Jared was able to take me to radiation every day. Like, I had to go every day at 1:15, every day. And my parents weren't able to be there every single day. They weren't able to be there at every chemo treatment either. But Jared could. We had our business, whether, he didn't have to like take off time from work and miss a lot of work for that and miss money like you'd have to do at a normal job. And we still had our business going, and I think it was almost growing through the whole thing. But that's another blessing that we had, was the fact that, our business allowed us to have that time together, to get through it together, to have them by my side, like every day. So I get done with cancer treatment and I kicked cancer's butt, like I like to say it. So we decided to get married 6 months later. And that was a huge celebration, not only because it was like our wedding, which was awesome, but it was a big celebration because like I was done and I beat it, and I'm, cancer free to this day, and I'm still taking, a lot of USANA. And I know that because I had that, like I was able to even bounce back a little bit faster. Like in my experience, that's something that I truly believe really helped me. And I'm so happy that I had that in my life. Like, I don't know what would have happened had I not had USANA, or, because you go in there and you're just really scared. You hear what the doctors say and you want to just follow what they're telling you. And, that's kind of all you know. A lot of people don't know, but we had that support here with our USANA family. And I'm just like really happy that I have shifted a little more healthy lifestyle. Like all of it together just makes life better. I know that USANA has so many different benefits that everybody can have, whether it is for health or finances. That's what we're here for. And I know that because I went through this, like now I have my USANA story, but I have the ability to really maybe get through to some people and allow them the opportunity to have a better quality of life, even if they are going through something like this, whether it's cancer, whether it's, some other degenerative disease. Like there is hope, and you can live a fulfilled life. And I really hope that you guys can understand how beneficial this business can be. And even if you talk to your family, maybe they don't necessarily have to have the business, but if they have the products, like everybody needs the products. Everybody does. I don't think we've ever had anybody that didn't have any type of success while they were taking any of the USANA products. And so far, everything's been really great now. And I don't know if you guys have any questions you guys want to ask me. I guess I'm open for questions. But thank you guys so much for being on the webinar and listening to my little story. I hope that you guys got some stuff out of it.
So I have some questions I kind of know the answer to, but I want everyone to hear this.
Okay.
What did you take during your chemo and radiation?
Okay, so I was taking, at the time, I was taking a lot of pretty much everything, but the 3 big ones that I was taking 12 Hepasil a day. I was taking 6 of the super pill proflavanol and 3 of the super pill CoQ100s. And I did that because the protocol that was recommended, it was easier to get the super pills. So it was still a lot of vitamins at the time, but it helped. So it wasn't that many more. Like I could, but I also spread it out. I didn't do it like once in the morning, once in the evening. I took it like probably like 3 or 4 times throughout the day, and I just kind of spread it all out. But it was those 3. Now we have proglucamine, which is a huge support in with your immune system and fighting cancer and things like that. But I would imagine you'd want to take that now along with those 3. And I'm not sure how much that would be. Probably, probably about the same as like Hepasil. I don't know. Just eat them like candy.
Absolutely. Okay. And who else has questions? You guys have, we have probably time for like 3 or 4 questions with Emerald Director Crystal Crebs. You can type your question. You can send me a text. Or you can unmute yourself and even ask Crystal directly. So while that's going on and while people are thinking about their questions, I just want to ask you, Crystal. Phyllis Walker, she says, did you have nausea?
I did have nausea a few times. There's only actually one time that I remember that I actually got sick from, I think it was like maybe second or third week that I was in chemo, but I didn't really have very much nausea. No, I wasn't actually having too horrible of side effects. Thankfully, it was usually the second, probably third day that I would feel anything. Like the first day you're just kind of like, okay, for chemotherapy, you just kind of feel a little drained and stuff. But it wasn't until the third day that maybe I would feel a little bit more down, but not really. Thankfully.
Wow,
I was really glad. I was really glad.
All right, she continues to ask here. Oh, Denise from Floresville says, does it differ on what you should take based on what kind of cancer?
I'm not totally sure. I believe that that particular protocol would be phenomenal with any type of cancer. Dr. Ladd would know more specifically on if it's a specific type of cancer, what to take, because he's the one who told me, and I know he has a protocol for cancer overall, and I believe he may have some specifics, but maybe you can ask him on the 30th.
Tell Dr. Ladd or tell them about the Dr. Ladd VIP website.
Oh, so there is a website that Dr. Ladd has now called Dr. Ladd VIP, or is it?
Yes.
Something like that. And he will answer any question that you have for him. He has a lot of things archived from other people's questions. So in a way you can go in there and, type in cancer, type in whatever, and it'll pull up some of the things that he's talked to other people about, so that he can basically, it's a little more efficient way for him to answer questions, because people are, always asking him a lot of questions. But it's an amazing, amazing website. Like, you guys should definitely subscribe to it, I guess. Is that?
Well, you have to pay.
I'm not sure what
you have to pay, like, I believe it's like $100 a year or around there.
Okay.
To get it for a year, and you have access to the live video or the live Facebook page. You can ask them questions.
Mm-hmm. But it's great because, you can jump on Facebook at any point in time and search whatever, and you'll get answers pretty quickly. And other testimonies and stories and stuff.
Absolutely. Cool. Lillian Galdiano asks, knowing what you know, would you still have done the chemo and radiation?
Yes, because it still was an integral part of what I needed to do for my particular cancer. There may be other cancers that you wouldn't have to go and do that with. I know there have been some, I don't know specifically, but I do know of some of the stories that people, were able to really take a lot of, of the supplements, really changing their lifestyle habits, like eating habits and things like that, to do that instead of going and doing the chemo and radiation. But for me, I think that was still the best. Like, I think it happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you did the chemo and radiation as well, because the chemo and radiation is what kills the cancer. The USANA just keeps you healthy while the chemo and radiation is doing its job. Mm-hmm. And
before and after.
She would not be cancer free without the chemo and radiation. She needed to do that, and so that's what happened. Mm-hmm. All right, so I have a question. I know the answer, but I want you to just share this with everybody. Tell everyone what our life looks like today thanks to our USANA business.
Well, our life is pretty freaking awesome. We have obviously built the business to a place where we're able to go on vacations and travel the world, which is something I love to do. We have a really good outlook on our lifestyle health-wise. I mean, working out, we love to work out. I love rowing. Everybody knows I'm like obsessed with that. But it's just a huge blessing. Yeah, there's life that creeps up occasionally, but we're in such an amazing place that like we don't necessarily stress too much.
Cool.
I love our life. I like that we can create our own schedules. We can go to bed when we want to. We can wake up when we want to. Sleeping in is really nice. We just have so much flexibility, and
it was worth it.
It was
right?
really,
It was worth it?
Oh, yeah. It was worth it. Everything.
Adriana Perez asks, did you feel any side effects during the treatments as you were taking these supplements?
I mean, I felt the side effects from the chemo and radiation. Yeah, I did feel it a little bit. It wasn't as much. Like I said, I didn't lose my hair. I was nauseous a little bit. The one thing that I do remember during radiation, since I went every single day, I remember they had to give me like a week off towards the end, like right before the last week of radiation, just because it was messing with my bowels and just like the whole area down there, just because it was so concentrated, like right there. They had to kind of give me a little bit of time to just heal up or, recover from it. And then I went back in for that last week. And then I had the internal radiation, and that just sucked, but I didn't really feel too bad. But not as crazy as some other people going through treatments that, you can really tell they've just deteriorated and always sick and like nauseous and stuff. But luckily I was really, really grateful that I didn't have too much affecting me.
All right. So to end this portion of our training tonight, Crystal, and this has been great, what is some advice you can give to the team? What have been some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome with our USANA business personally on your end? So those two things, let's end it with that.
Well, I will say one of the bigger challenges, and I don't know if it was really that big of a challenge, but for me, when Jared and I got engaged, we merged our businesses. So basically, like, I rank advanced to a Ruby director from a builder really, really fast, which is cool. But at the same time, that put me in a position where I was a lot more responsible for having that leadership role and being the leader. Like, we were Ruby directors, Jared had grown our business, and he had already been looked up to as a leader. And then me coming in from having, my business already, like Jared says, I'm the first lady of our business. I really had to step up in my leadership and be able to be there for our team in a different way. In a way, I was really glad that I kind of got that kick in the butt to, like, take over that part, that half of our business. But it was a good challenge. And like I was saying earlier about growing personal development, like, it just really made a bigger impact on me to read more and listen to more audiobooks and things like that, so that I could fully be in that mindset and be prepared to really own that leadership.
Awesome. And what's your last advice for everybody before we end your training?
Well, I love the personal development because you get so much more out of that than just for the business. I mean, it can trickle into your whole life. Stay active. We're the USANA family. Like, we're here for being the vision of a healthy life and living your life to the fullest. And, I love rowing, like, be a little active, be aware of what you're eating, be aware of who you're surrounded with, like who you surround yourself with, because, you know, like they say that the 5 people that you're around most is how you're, you know, who you're going to be like. So not saying completely cut people out, but just be aware, you know, if you want to be successful, be around successful people. If you want to be healthy, be around healthy people. It's just a really big influence on you is your environment. So that would be some advice for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal.
Yay!
Dad, hold the slide. So thank you, baby, for all your great work. Thank you for this great training. I love what you had to say about who you hang out with and your leadership. Thank you for being the first lady of our business and all your help. And thank you for inspiring the team tonight. I love you. All right. So that concludes the training. Let's go to some local events and upcoming events. And we'll end the recording here. Thank you for attending.